The fluoride myth busted. When I think of fluoridation, two words come to my mind: medical experiment. And the guinea pig is YOU. That's right, without any solid proof that ingesting fluoride was beneficial for your teeth and with no safety tests conducted to determine its potential effects on the rest of your body, the government moved forward with the mass medication of the country's water supply. Think about it, with the exception of fluoride, every other chemical added to tap water is for the purpose of improving the water's safety. Fluoride is the only chemical added for the purpose of medication. And just like all drugs doled out by Big Pharma, this one comes with a litany of potential side effects. The difference? There's no black box warning on your faucet like there is on a bottle of pills. Did you know that for years fluoride was classified as a toxic waste in this country? In fact, not too long ago its only approved uses were as an insecticide and a rat poison, and that's just how your body treats it, as a poison. Plenty of studies have been done over the years, and the results are frightening. Fluoridation has been linked to immune system alteration, musculoskeletal harm, genetic damage, thyroid dysfunction, and even cancer. Do you think all that's worth preventing cavities? Before you answer that, I have one more inch to toss at you. More and more studies are showing that ingesting fluoride has absolutely no bearing on preventing tooth decay. And now the American Dental Association is advising that parents not give fluoridated water to babies because it can cause brain damage. The fluoride myth is busted. Back in the 40s, when fluoride was first added to the water supply, most dentists believed that you had to swallow the stuff in order for it to work. It hadn't been proven, mind you. But that didn't stop the government from including it in the chemical cocktail that's routinely added to your tap water. A lot has changed since then, though. Now, more than 50 years of research has proven, beyond a doubt, that fluoride is not suitable for human consumption. Period. You may also be surprised to learn fluoride is an internationally recognized poison. That's right. For years fluoride was classified as a toxic waste in this country. In fact, not too long ago its only approved uses were as an insecticide and a rat poison. Most nations have wisely abandoned fluoridation, realizing that it was a horrible mistake, and was responsible for bad health and death in millions of innocent people. Most nations, except, of course, for the good old US so far. Now, those people who have been exposed to a lifetime of poisoning fluoridation are suffering the consequences. Fluoride poisoning plays a role, in my opinion, in practically every disease that we see. Why? Because fluoride is an enzyme inhibitor, and that means not one single cell in your body escapes its toxic effects. Is the idea of having healthy teeth really worth risking your life? Millions of people in America are being forced to ingest a toxin that's been linked to a whole host of diseases. Take a look. Immune system alteration. Fluoride causes the immune system to fail to distinguish between the body's own proteins and disease, which can lead to autoimmune conditions, like asthma and Graves' disease. Musculoskeletal harm. Fluoride-caused enzyme toxicity damages the collagens and other substances that make up muscles, tendons, ligaments, bones, and even tooth enamel. Rheumatoid illnesses such as arthritis and osteoporosis are aggravated as a result. Genetic damage. Fluoride's enzyme poisoning effects penetrate the body's chromosomes, causing permanent genetic changes that can lead to damage to the genitalia, and has even been linked to an increased incidence of birth defects like Down syndrome. Cancer. Because fluoride is a mutagen, it can cause the uncontrolled spread of certain types of cells, including cancer. One report from San Francisco in 1950 showed a 400% increase in one type of cancer during the period in which the water supply was initially fluoridated. Thyroid dysfunction. Fluoride causes damage to the thyroid gland in multiple ways, which can play havoc on your body's hormonal balance and ultimately lead to hypothyroidism, an increasingly common condition in most all civilized nations. As if these things aren't bad enough. Because your body can only eliminate about half the fluoride you ingest, this toxin builds up in your system over time. So the older you get, the more likely you are to suffer from fluoride's toxic effects. That doesn't mean it can only harm adults. Plenty of children have had to suffer the consequences of fluoridation as well. Recently, the American Dental Association advised that fluoridated water should not be given to infants, because it put them at a high risk of developing dental fluorosis. Dental fluorosis. In case you are not familiar with the term, it's a problem that occurs when excess fluoride intake at a young age, namely 6 months to 5 years old, damages developing teeth, leaving these unfortunate children with yellow teeth, white spots, or damaged enamel. But that's nothing compared to what was published in my favorite medical journal, The Lancet, a study showing that fluoride can damage developing brains. Fluoride doesn't prevent cavities. Here's the real irony, though fluoride may not even be good for your teeth. In one of the biggest studies ever undertaken on the subject, using data from 39,000 school children in 84 metropolitan areas around the US, there was no statistically significant difference in rates of tooth decay between fluoridated and non-fluoridated water supplies. That's right, fluoride doesn't prevent cavities.